Alright, so most of you watching this video right now are working with us on Skype or recording an interview with us that we use on air through Skype, through one of your recording programs. And many of you have this. This is the Blue Yeti from Blue Microphones. Some of you may have another model, and of course we will be able to run through that. But this video is going to run through some of the basic features of the Blue Yeti that you should know about should you have not learned so far how to use it. So the first thing I want to show you is some of the wires that come with it. Now the one right here is really the one that comes with it. This one over here is just for your headphones. So over here is, and I'm going to pull it out, is a USB cable. On one end is this, and then I'm going to pull out the other end over here, and the other end is this. So what you want to do is when you get it, you obviously take the microphone out, and the microphone is just going to look like this right in the box. You're going to take it out. You're going to take this, the USB cable, plug one end over here into this port right here, which is a little mini USB extension, and plug it in like that. And then you're going to plug your other end into the computer, which I've now just done, and the computer is eventually going to install the driver. It should be doing it automatically. If not, then we need to go through it and we'll be able to figure out there are a couple of troubleshooting matters that'll be able to help solve it. But automatically the computer should recognize the Yeti as a legitimate microphone and install the driver and have the computer recognize it instantly. Now you'll notice once I plugged it in, this light over here, which was off, and I'll show you again to show you, see it's off. Once you plug it in, the light turns on. It's a solid red color. Now the red color tells you that the microphone is on and that it is broadcasting, it is taking audio, it's doing its job as a microphone. If you see it blinking like that, then it tells you that it's muted. You don't want it blinking. If it's blinking, it's not working, it's not picking up your audio. You want to make sure that it's a solid red color. And the next thing, and I'm going to move this microphone a little closer, that you want to notice on the front here is the volume bar. And by the way, that reminds me of the other wire down here. Now this is the other side. We showed you this just a moment ago. This is the USB extension. Over here is a port to plug in your headphones. You could probably see right on top, right about here, is the little symbol that shows you it's for headphones. So, these are my headphones, but, if you have any old pair of headphones lying around for your iPod or your MP3 player, or if you have an old-fashioned Walkman still, you can use anything. Anything you use to listen to music or sports or whatnot, you can use for this. You plug it right into the headphone port here. We'll bring it back around again. So we showed you this red light here. What this knob down here, and maybe you may not be able to read it, but down here it says volume, and it has again a picture of the headphones. This knob here just controls what you can hear in your headphones. The convenient factor of this having the mic port down here is that you don't have to plug your headphones into a separate port on your computer. You can plug it right into the Yeti and hear everything through this microphone, both what you're speaking into the microphone and what's coming out from the other end. So if you're doing a two-way Skype interview, you can hear the questions from the other person, the other anchor, the other radio station, through these headphones, through the microphone itself. If you had it plugged into the computer, it would still work, but there's a chance that when you speak into the microphone, you may momentarily hear yourself in the headphones, which is somewhat disconcerting. The ability to have the headphone port right here on the microphone makes sure that you don't actually hear yourself when you start talking. So this port right here controls the volume with which you hear yourself in the headphones and the person that's speaking questions to you. And you can set it to whatever level you want. So those are really the two features on the front, the red light and the headphone port. The only other thing I want to point out on the front of the microphone is this area right here. This is the area of the microphone where you're actually going to want to speak towards. This is the part where the buds on the cardioid setting are set for. If you can imagine sort of a circle around here emanating from this side and in this direction, that's where it's going to pick up you speaking. You want to be about an inch or so away, so I'm going to turn it briefly over here, angling it a little bit, about 10 inches. You want to be about this distance away. You don't want to really be this far away. It's a little too far. This is about right. I can live with you up here. The closer you are, it's better than being farther away. About here will do suffice. Back here a little bit too far. I'd say about here or here. So you want to make sure that you're talking into this part of the microphone, maybe a little bit off to the side. And there is a video I have specifically devoted to that, which I will also send you a link to if you're interested on it. But the idea, at least for this introductory video, is this is the part of the microphone that picks up your sound. So if you're speaking to this side or to this side on the back, and I'll turn it over in a second, it's not going to pick you up all that well because the buds aren't set up to pick up you speaking into the top or into the back. This is the area over here that it's set up for, emanating out in this sort of direction. So that's all the features on the front of the Yeti. And now I'm going to turn it around for a second. And while I do, I'm going to lift it up so you can see it's got an actual stand and a little area and you can tilt it. Now we're moving it to the back of the microphone. And just going back for a second to what I was saying before, you don't want to speak up to here and you don't want to speak here. You want to speak in the front, the part we were at before. The two features I want to show you on the back are first on the bottom here, the settings on the microphone. There are 4 of them and you may not be able to see them all so well, but the one that we're going to use for our purposes here is the third one over here. It looks like a heart shape. It's the second from the right or the third out of the 4, and that's for cardioid. That's the best for the interviews, for the podcast, for any sort of interview setting. There are a couple other settings, omnidirectional, bidirectional. Those are good for other sorts of settings where you may have multiple people that are being interviewed, or you're a band, or you're doing some music. But for the purposes of an interview between you and someone over Skype or any other sort of VoIP system, you want it in that third position, the heart-shaped one, the cardioid position. Final thing I want to show you is the top knob here, which is the gain. It's a knob that starts all the way on the left here, about 7 o'clock on the clock on the dial, goes all the way over to this end, which is about 5 o'clock on the dial. So you'll be able to toy around, kind of figure out what's best. You'll want to maybe record yourself on a recording program to see how you sound, to figure out the best. You can always work with me on it. The way I found it best, if you're going to be standing an inch away from the microphone, as I just mentioned a moment ago, and as you can see on my other video that goes a little more in depth on how to talk into the microphone in a proper way, you'll probably don't want that gain too far up. This is right now all the way in the off position. I wouldn't have it past 9 o'clock, really. If you go up to 11, it's probably a little too far. Definitely if you're at 12, it's going to be a little too far. This is from my personal experience. I'd have it anywhere between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock, a little bit beyond the gain. Again, there's another video out there on how to use this microphone, which I'll send you a link to if you're interested, on how to talk properly into the microphone. Again, the very basics of it is that you want to talk in this general region. This is the part of the microphone with the buds. Watch that video because you don't want to necessarily be talking directly, boom, straight into the front here, more off towards the side like this or like this. So you can see that video. I'll send it to you. It's about how to use the Yeti. But those are the very basics of this Yeti. Again, the USB, the headphones, the light saying it's on, your headphones, and then on the back, the cardioid position being the third on the or the second from the right, and the gain. Those are the things you want to know about the Blue Yeti. And again, ask me any questions, email me, call me, and I'll also show you how to use the Yeti for a Skype interview.